Hello, everybody. Welcome to Echo Underground. I'm Shneek.
This is Mike.
And on this podcast, we talk about music, movies, TV shows, and any other interesting topics. Now, I'm going to put a little warning in front of this podcast. You will hear a beeping sound because I have technical difficulties with my fire alarm and I need to fix that. But that is a tomorrow problem, not a current day problem. And I will definitely make sure it's not in the next podcast. There it goes again. So, but we want to know what you guys think of our podcast. So tweet us at Echo U Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and any other podcasting apps, including iTunes at Echo Underground Podcast. And I want to get into, and this podcast is actually going to be about Maroon 5 Red Pill Blues album. And overall, I thought it was a really good album. I gave it a A minus. I Like I said, I've actually listened to full Maroon 5 albums. I know Michael has not. And this is not my favorite Maroon 5 album in general. But for 2017, I actually thought it was a really good album. I think it's kind of funny that a lot of the good albums are like coming out towards the end of the year. Not saying there wasn't any in the beginning, but at least from what we like actually reviewed, it's kind of crazy that they're coming out in the end. Because it's going to make my ranking kind of hard. So, yeah, but I thought all the songs were well produced. I thought Adam Levine, his voice was amazing on all the tracks. The band was really good. There's like, I have a couple complaints about some of the album, but other than that, it's very much a solid A minus for me. What about you, Michael?
As the outsider here, since Shanique, so joyfully pointed that out, I really did like this album. This was definitely like a good A minus for me. Um, I don't, what would you call this genre? Pop? Indie
No,
pop?
it's they're still a rock band. They're just pop influence. They're still a rock band though.
Okay, well, I found this to be one of the most like neutral sounding genres. Like, regardless of what you like to listen to, this can fit in almost anywhere. Which is what I realized because I spent a lot of my day listening to some music at work and some on my way home, and then I did this later on, and I was like, huh, the transition between everything I listened to today to this album was kind of seamless and it felt good. And I went through the whole album with the exception of like I think one song, but I went through the whole thing just feeling really good about it. I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. It kind of made me think, maybe I should go revisit some albums just so I can like, see potentially what I've been missing out on, maybe to like draw a baseline between what I'm listening to now and what already does exist. Excluding like their chart toppers because everyone heard those on radio because it get played like overkill. But yeah, end of the day, this is a pretty solid A minus for me. Did not mind this album at all. Went all the way through with the exception of one song, and I was pretty good with it.
I already know what song you're talking about, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I already know. And funny enough, I actually like that song anyway. But we'll get there. All
Me too. I'm conflicted about it, but me too.
right. So my number 3 is drum roll or beep if you hear it. Who Am I featuring Lunch Money Lewis, which that rapper has a weird ass name. Um, it was well produced, good vocals. Basically the song's basically saying, accept me as I am. This is me. This is who I am. Here it is, the total package. Ain't nothing changing here. And I actually liked Lunch Money's verse. I read the name and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be like some mumble rapper shit or like some weird ass thing. He has an old school rap voice, and I was like, oh shit, not like Chuck D, but like similar to his real voice. That's what he sounds like to me. And I was like singing the whole little chorus. Ooh ah, I was singing that. I was jamming to Who Am I, and I totally like I actually listened to the album like about 3 times only because the first time I listened to it, I was writing my notes the first time, right? Then I started jamming to it. Then I listened to it at work and jammed to it and forgot to like actually record anything down. And I was like, shit, the podcast on here and I've listened to this twice and did not write anything down. So, I had to be diligent and like actually go back and listen to it. But I was actually surprised by my top three. But yeah, what do you think of Who Am I? Unless Who Am I is in your top three.
It's not in my top three, but I did like the song though. And as far as Lewis's part, it was crazy short.
Yeah, that's one thing I
Cause
liked it, but it was short.
right, like I thought it was an interesting thing to throw into the song "Bomb" with Maroon 5, and I was like, guys, use it. Cause I think the only other like hip hop person who was in this album was actually no two others, but I mentioned ASAP Rocky. ASAP Rocky had a
No, there
much
was like
more.
three others. There was Future, Kendrick, and ASAP.
Oh, that's right, Kendrick. Yeah, okay, you're right. Fair enough. But yeah, I was just saying, like, especially Kendrick and ASAP, like, they had much more fleshed out parts than in the song that they were featured in. And I figured, like, clearly they have a lot of synergy with, like, hip hop and other things outside of that. Outside of just themselves. I'm like, damn, like, y'all kind of just gave Lewis, like, the leftovers or whatever. I don't know. Like, he sounded good. I agree with Shanique. Like, he sounded good. But as soon as he started, his part ended. But as far outside of Lunchman Lewis, the actual song "Who I Am," I actually dig it. It's one of them songs where I'm talking about the whole transition thing. The transition here was fine. I like the song.
All right, cool. So, what's your number three then?
My number three. Give me a moment. If my phone would stop like turning itself off.
You have.
Oh, here it is. My number three, and it's a really awkward one for me to pick. I didn't think, but Denim Jacket. Like this one is one of those like girl centric songs, like oh you look so good in that denim jacket when XYZ and all this stuff. I'm like just the sound of the song for some reason, like it just resonated. Like I have a hard time like cherry picking reasons why I like this song. All I can give you is resonance. It just had some kind of chord that just struck with me, and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to listen to more of this song.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and like about Denim Jacket, like it's not in my top three, but it has an '80s feel. Like the way he sings it is very like old school pop
hmm
sounding, and his falsetto and like just like that beat. His falsetto was like
yeah,
really high, and it was crazy. And I was just like, "Oh snap!" I feel like my throat would crack if I had to sing that high. So go at him on that one.
right.
Uh, number two. Number two. What did I put? Bet My Heart. And I sent
I had a
Michael the
feeling.
lyrics.
Yeah, I had a feeling. It was either number two or number one. I was like, it's gonna be in there somewhere though. I refuse to believe she don't have it.
Yeah, it's stuck in my head. Basically the song's like, would I would I lose you if I bet my heart? So he's basically saying, are you are you worth me risking my heart? Basically, that's what the song is about. And I like that the beat has a little bit of African influence. And I thought the song got better as it went on. It was catchy as hell. I was singing that shit. Never heard since the first time I heard it. And yeah, it's definitely like Maroon 5's always been like pop influence with their rock music, but I think they're considered indie. I actually probably should look that up because people like to get you together. But
hmm
yeah, it was one of like all the songs are catchy on this album, but
Very.
for me personally, I thought it was one of the more catchier songs. Um, do you have anything to say about Bet My Heart?
Bet My Heart was cool. I do agree. Like, one thing does well is make their songs catchy, and this was definitely one of like the catchiest. Cause like it's one of the things where like they repeat the same thing on a chorus, but with like a really good beat behind it, but it works in a positive way, not in like the lazy, we have no lyrical talent kind of way, but like this is just the kind of thing that it'll be stuck in your head and you won't be mad at it.
Yeah, and I looked it up, and don't quote me. I use Wikipedia, but they're pop rock, which I thought that's what they were. American pop rock band, which makes sense because their rock music is heavily pop influenced, heavily. But you're number two, Mr. Brown.
My number two is "Lips on You." Now,
Oh, that was one of my personal favorites too.
yeah, like this song, like even though like it slowed the pace down, being like the what was it, the third or fourth song? Yeah, fourth song on the album. Like I realized, okay, the pace is slow. It's gonna be, their way of like finding some range on the album to say like, we don't just do like, the pop rock kind of stuff that we're used to, but like it slows it down. But it's at that point where it's like I started listening to the song and realized how smooth they sound, and not only that, but it's like a very like intimate song, and I was like, damn it, I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. And then it worked on me because like he does like the sound of the song is really good, and intimate is definitely the word for this song right here. But yeah, it's really good for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was, again, his vocals amazing. And like it's one of those songs that you find yourself singing and you don't know why, but you just singing anyway. And I really enjoyed that. If I had like an honorable mention, which yeah, honestly, most of his album outside of my top three would be honorable mention. So Lips on You is a
Hmm.
good choice. So we're gonna play that game. Which one's number one for me?
Don't want to know.
No.
Oh,
It was around that range, but it's the song before it, Plastic Rose.
really interesting.
I
Okay.
love that shit for some reason. It was the only song on this album that like I felt like all the songs either I had as the song went on I liked it more. Like I end up loving it by the end of the song. But this song caught me immediately. I like the way he sounds. Maybe it's because he sounds like a little disco a little bit. And I
Right.
love disco. So if you could pull off a modern day disco song, I will be in love with that song and I'll be singing that. So I love that. It was catchy, good vocals. I was jamming to the shit. I like the techno and disco rock feel of the song. So many genres, but perfect. And I thought Adam was has the perfect voice for this type of music. So yeah, definitely, disco's the shit. Plastic Rose, number one. And I'm gonna guess your number one.
Go ahead.
Visions.
See, I knew you were gonna go for that, but you're wrong. Actually, I'm like, she gonna go with the one that sounds like a little bit like an album vibe to it, but like, no, it's actually not. And it's weird. Like my number one set the bar high and never came down. My number one is actually "Best for You," the very first song on the album.
See, I didn't think you would like a song like OD like that. But yeah,
Uh-uh.
Best for You was really good. It was a good intro.
Yeah. One, I gotta give Brownie points to the first and last songs on the album if they're really good. So it got some points for me there. But other than that, it's like it broke. This is how I knew the album was going to be catchy because this song was probably the catchiest for me. I didn't say anything about it before this podcast because I knew like I wanted to make sure that I don't make this too easy for Shanique because I know after I listened to the rest of the album, and I already knew that the first song was my favorite song. But after Visions came on, I'm like, this the one Shanique gonna think I'm gonna like the most because she's shallow and underestimates me and she doesn't really know who I am. But it's alright, guys.
Yo, he in his
Um,
feelings, right? He calling me out. What's happening?
you think you know me, man? But yeah, yeah, I think Best for You was like the best one for me, man. Like I think my top three are the three songs I actually like decided to like keep with me in my actual personal collection here. Like I'm probably gonna revisit and probably get some other ones too. Like I honestly would get Visions as well, and I was considering Wait. Like I don't know. I have a weird scale of whether or not I actually want to download a song versus even though it's like a favorite song or not on the album. But yeah, this one is definitely one of the ones where I was like, need it, need it, need it, need it. That's where I'm at with this one.
Okay, well, I like Best for You too. And that was another one because this also has a disco influence on it. So I was like, all right. And then his high notes are really good, even though it's kind of like a dark topic because he's like, I want the best for you, but
Hmm.
nigga, that ain't me. Like, that's
Yeah,
basically what he's
right.
saying. He's like, yo, that is not me. I want the best for you, but I'm a piece of shit. You don't want this. You want
It's weird because it's like they made such a weird topic sound so like upbeat, and I was like,
I
what my
know. You're
emotions are conflicted. I don't know what to do with this information.
like you dancing to it, but you're like, man, you got low self esteem. But I'm still grooving. This.
Right. It's like I'm trying to dance here, but I'm questioning like, what are you going through right now, yo? Do you want to talk about it? What's happening?
Yeah, but that was I actually like best for you too. All right, the next song that we haven't talked about was "What Lovers Do" featuring SZA. SZA was really good on this track.
Mm.
Like I was like, all right, and this beat had a like 80s influence, and her voice worked perfectly for the beat. And oddly enough, I thought Adam Levine's voice and SZA worked together really well. And he had high notes for days, and it was catchy. So yeah, I fucks with it. What do you think of What Lovers Do?
Pretty much the same thing. Like I thought, like yo, there's a lot of synergy with Maroon 5 and other like artists because they just did so damn well. I don't know if it's because the beat or like their voices or something. Because I know like SZA does this whole R&B thing, and like Adam has like a crazy range, so it's like it's not hard for him to adapt to somebody else that he's working with. But like when I heard this song, like that them transitioning between one another, even though it only happened one time, like hearing that transition was like really seamless. Like, yo, are you part of that band? What's happening here? But yeah,
Yeah,
it worked really damn well, and yeah, kudos to this song too.
I definitely agree. Next song, Wait. Wait
Hmm.
was really good. Like it was surprising how much I liked it. Let's put it that way. I was like, maybe Wait's not like I thought like when it first started. But since I listened to it 3 times, every time I listened to it I liked it more. So I was like, alright, cool. Like we will be chilling with Wait. Alright. I thought it was really good. What do you think of this?
I hate to keep piggybacking here, but I kind of feel the same way you do because it took a while for me to like adapt to the song. Like it kind of grew on me. But then I also realized that my favorite part of the song is really the chorus, which is really good to say about a song. 'Cause the chorus is what you probably hear the most of, and it sticks with you the most. But yeah, Wake was probably my favorite, one of my favorite choruses on this album to come to. And I think that pretty much sold it for me at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Next song. Help Me Out featuring Julia Michaels. I don't know who Julia Michaels is, but I like her voice. That's all I have to say. I like her voice. Her voice was really good. Again, it worked with Adam. And his falsetto in the entire song, this is probably the highest he sang on the whole album, besides maybe
Damn it,
Plastic
stole my damn
Rose.
comment. Never mind. I can't even say nothing now.
Sorry. But it's like the highest he sang besides my number one, Plastic Rose. So I was like, man, killed it. That's all I gotta say. Hopefully Michael has something else.
I do for Julia Michaels. I do get the same feeling about what's the name, Lunchman Lewis, because like even though like she didn't have that much of a part, she did like pop in here and there in like the middle of verses and a lot more prominently in the chorus. Wait, wasn't the chorus? Not the chorus. I'm pretty sure like she popped up prominently in a lot of the verses, like just a line here, a line there, until like she had like a little spread of her own. But I also thought this song, in my opinion, had some of the most interesting like strings of high notes in certain parts. Cause like they're going back and forth between both Julia and Adam with like the highest notes they can find, and like it may as well be an X-Men power to be able to make notes that were this high. Cause I was like, do you know the amount of glass I would break if I tried any of this?
I think you'll break your vocal cords first, and then the glass.
My my neck would snap. Like it wouldn't stand a chance. But I did want as far as like me learning about like people like Lunchman Lewis and Julia Michaels. I haven't really been familiar with both of them, but I think this album does a good job of making me want to know more about them though.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, since you're complaining about me going first, why don't you talk about Whiskey first, featuring
Oh well,
ASAP Rocky?
Yeah, I thought this was all another one of them interesting mix of artists because it's like I'm used to ASAP Rocky doing a lot of other different types of songs, not really seeing him in the pop rock
I
scene
love
very
bad
often.
bitches all.
Right, so it's like I'm not really used to seeing him in this kind of scene, but then they go ahead and prove to me once again that we're Maroon 5. We'll make you work no matter who you are, and that's the kind of feeling I'm getting from them. Like they do the weird Kanye thing where like anyone who works with Kanye for some reason just sounds golden. Like not even just song wise, but like lyric wise or on the beat wise, and just all across the board, everything just sounded good. Now, whiskey is another catchy one too.
Yeah.
Um, they might be alcoholics, but I don't know. It was a nice
Tastes like
song.
whiskey.
Yeah, they tasting a lot of whiskey apparently. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I gotta say about that.
Yeah, for me, whiskey grew on me. Like, cause I admit, like, first time I heard it, I thought decent song, but every time I heard it even more, I enjoyed it even more. Like, it was weird. The song got better the more times I heard it. So I definitely like whiskey. I thought ASAP Rocky was decent, but the way he came in was weird. It was like, oh, we have a feature. Let's make sure he comes in. It wasn't. I didn't think the transition to his verse was organic, but I did like his verse. Um, Next one, Girls Like You. So the song, the chorus of the song makes the song good, in my opinion. Cause I like the verses were okay, but I thought the chorus is actually what improves the song. The beat was like a weird, not weird. It was creative, like Caribbean and electronic beat, and I really like it. That's one thing I would say about this album. Whoever produced the beats on this album, whoever decided this is what we're going to sing to, really good job because it's very creative. You can hear all the different like notes and instruments. So I personally like that. What do you think of Girls Like You?
I thought that if you're gonna play this for a girl, you're about to make her feel special, because this one definitely made it look like I know that the title of the song is like "Girls Like You" plural, but it's literally just making the girl feel one of a kind. And for some reason, that sucked me in. I can't even tell you why. I do agree with Shanique though as far as the sound goes. Like a lot of this, this is one of them albums where like they experiment with a lot of different kind of sounds and genre mixing and genre bending or whatever, and like they make it work in very good ways. This is definitely one of them songs that show that off a little bit. And they deserve to stroke their egos a little bit because they made it work really damn well. I feel like Visions sort of kicked this song up a notch, but like this song was cool. I don't know if you're a girl, this probably made you feel real damn special because I was getting into my feelings and I'm like, what's happening with me right now? I can't recognize myself. Hold up,
Okay.
Adam.
Hold up, apparently. Alright. Next
Oh, here we
song.
go.
The one. I know it's Closure. Okay. Closure. 1/3 is song, 2/3 jazz instrumental.
Jazz band. Yep, there you
Yeah.
go.
And I was like, so I saw 11 minutes. I'm like, okay, what we gonna do here? So the song's going, I'm jamming to it. 3 minute mark, close to 4 mark, no words after that. So it's basically 7 minutes of jazz, and I'm just jamming, and I'm like, I'm waiting for the like next verse, and it's not coming. But I'm still just rocking my head with it. Whoever, if it's one of them members, because I'm assuming it is, because no one else has credit of saying that, you did a really good job on your long solo.
Right.
This is a song that's a perfect example of a hidden gem. Like you would not release this on the radio, at least the last 7 minutes of it.
For
You
sure.
really wouldn't. You really wouldn't release this on the radio. But it's really good to listen to it. And I've listened to a jazz album fully. This is not a song like to dance to anything. You just like it's just a song to listen to it, chill, relax. But it did throw me off because I expected like lyrics, and what I got is lyrics and then nothing else after that.
Right.
And it caught me by surprise, but I was like, okay, I officially respect whoever did that solo because you really got to shine on this track.
Yeah, you definitely got your chance to show your potential off a little bit.
Yeah, and it's funny. I wrote in the notes half because I thought it would. the chorus would come back, and then I was like, no, basically the whole song was that instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
You got so I know Closure was the one that was like surprised you a little bit, but I liked it. What do you think?
Now, here's how I walked into this song. Now, I'm gonna do this in order from how I did this, cause like when I listened to this whole album, I didn't look at any of the times. I just like put the headphones in and just started listening. So I'm unaware of how long a song is. Now, going into this, I'll actually talk about the actual song Closure. It sounds pretty good. It's definitely about breakup sex, but it sounds really good. Because if you listen to the song closely enough, you'll realize this is how they're trying to get their closure. Let's just do it one last time and then we're done. We're gonna call it quits. No more. And I get that. The song was pretty good, was well done. Adam sounded great. Surprise, surprise. Now, in my head, I'm thinking, you know how like some songs just trail off into music, and
Hmm.
like you just and the volume just sort of goes away and fades the song to the next song on the album. I thought that was happening for about 7 minutes. Cause don't get me wrong, the jazz sounded good, but like I'm so stubborn that I refuse to look at um how much time was left on the song. I did not care about the track time. I was just like, all right, it's about to be over. And I said that approximately 3 dozen times because I just had my ego was just like, no, yo, Michael, you're right. The song's about to be done. Don't waste your time or energy looking at the track time that's left. And even when the song was starting to trail off, like it was the longest transitional ending to a to a jazz solo I've ever heard. Get Guinness World Book of World Records on this because that was impressive. But yeah, that song, the actual song Closure, like before the jazz solo, actually sounded pretty good. I actually feel like the song actually goes well with jazz. Oddly enough, like a song about breakup sex and putting it on jazz. Okay, sure, jazz really talks about something else, but Adam and his team are warlocks or something. They're using some kind of magic to make it work. That's how I feel about Closure.
It's definitely surprising because you're like, we the rest though, but it's really nice. I think it's not ever gonna be a single, and if it is, they're just gonna cut the jazz part. But I thought it was
It's
really
three
nice.
songs long. I'd say it's 4 songs long. They can't even call that a single no more.
Hey, touch a remix. Just saying.
Sure, that's true.
Or the One Blood remix, which that was just fucking ridiculous. That was
One
worse.
blood, one blood, one blood.
New rapper here. Oh, this is a tangent. But I saw that there's a news article that Sean Combs, aka P Diddy, is changing his name to Brother Love. Thoughts?
None. He changed his name pretty often. Like he did pretty long. He went pretty long with his last name, just going by Diddy. He did pretty well going pretty along without being indecisive about his name. I don't know. He likes to re-image himself, I guess. Even though he kind of been the same person, just with different names the whole time. But it's crazy, and depending on who you're talking to, he's still Puff Daddy to some people. He's still P Diddy to some people. He's still just Diddy to some people. So like I think it's like a generational thing. Like I feel like people who are maybe like coming out of high school, maybe just or just figuring out about him, they're gonna probably start calling him Brown Brother Love. But I don't know. I don't know where I fall in as far as like what name I'm most familiar with him being. Because I know the Puff Daddy phase, like, but I only know it mostly from like way back before I was like in the music at all for real. So yeah, call yourself whatever you want, Diddy or Puff Daddy or P
No,
Diddy.
it is Brother Love. All right. Anyway,
Find a rock and kick it.
here's my thing about the name. And shut the fuck up. So it's corny. Like I was okay with all the other names because they were just variations of like his old school name, like Puffy, Sean Combs. Sean Combs is his real fucking name, you know. P Diddy, Diddy, whatever. But Brother Love, that sounds like a 70s pimp name. I don't particularly like it. I don't mind that he's changing his name again. I just don't like the name he's changing it to. So I refuse to call him that. But let's refocus here. So next song, Visions. Visions was reggae influence, but not like full on. It's catchy. I think it's one of those songs that like it won't be released as a single, but when you hear it, you're gonna be surprised. And I think you're gonna actually like it because it's very like not typical Maroon 5 because of the beat they use, but I personally enjoyed it. What you think of Visions?
Vision was cool. Like I said, I kind of knew that you're gonna think that it's gonna be on my top three somewhere. But to be honest, if I were to find the honorable mention, that would probably be it. But it's still a pretty good song. I do like the genre bending as well with the reggae. Like I like seeing people have range, and especially since like he bumped it up a notch from the other song that had reggae on it. So I was like, well, reggae influence, should I say? So it was done well. Singing was also done well. I think everything went well in place with this song. Can't really go wrong with it.
Next song. Don't wanna know, no, no, no. Who's taking you
What is there
home,
to
home,
what is
home,
there to say
home?
about this song at this point?
Honestly, I don't really like that song that much. No, I'm playing. No, I like the song. I like Kendrick's verse, but it's not my favorite song. So like when I first heard it, I thought of the video because they were Pokemon in the video. They're
Oh, I never seen the video for this one.
they're dressed like Pokemon and like everyone's playing Pokemon Go. So he keeps getting chased by like crazy girls who are trying to catch him. It's like a weird concept. And then he's chasing after this girl Pokemon. It's like a whole thing. But that's what I thought of. And I don't think Kendrick's in the video. I think he's on the audio version. So I thought it was a remix, but apparently it's not. It's it has a very weird video. I like the beat. Kendrick did his thing. And but again, it's not my favorite song on the album, obviously. And it wasn't my like when I first heard it, I was like, I hope the rest of the album's not like this, and I'm glad it wasn't. Otherwise, it would have got a lower grade. What do you think of Don't Wanna Know, No, No,
What
No?
do I think about your fire alarm? Well, I think that song's a little bland. There's only like one note in the whole thing. It could use some vocals,
I mean, but it's
and
not that type of song, though.
I mean, I get it, but like, if you're gonna go instrumental, have some more range, have some more instruments. Like, clearly, your soloist isn't doing all that much. You're just sort of like banking on the same few beats here and there. But I'm gonna move on to this album though, because that's its own podcast right there for real. Tweet us if you want to do a podcast on Shanice's Fire Alarm. But yeah, don't want to know. Interesting song. I don't mind it at all, to be honest. Like, I
Hold
know
on.
it's
Pause. Pause. I just. It flew over my head. I forgot you were talking about my fire alarm.
I was like, no comment, word, yo. This is a funny joke, and you're just gonna make it like sit there, yo.
No!
I'm,
Just wait. Oh,
I'm
wait.
giving you gold here, and you just let it
Apparently.
sit there. No, my gold now. You don't get to have it anymore. Tweet us if you want us to do a podcast on Shanique's Fire Alarm.
They don't. And it's having
It'll be
problems.
a short podcast, but it'll happen.
Fuck that. Anyway, talk about Kendrick
Yeah,
and Maroon
yeah,
5.
yeah. It was cool. I mean, like, we've heard it everywhere. It's probably like their most radio overkill song right now, if you still hear it anywhere. Which you probably still will, to be honest, and
I
probably still will
thought
for a while
Cold.
because it's very.
I thought Cold was the one playing on. Or wait, I forgot. But I don't hear
Um,
that as
I,
much
I,
anymore.
I personally hear this one on commercials, on radio. It's everywhere. You probably can't miss it, and for a good reason. It's catchy. Like they repeat the end of the words a lot, and Kendrick adds something to the album to the song, should I say? Because like he definitely sounds like Kendrick. It's kind of unmistakable that it's Kendrick, and I think as far as features go, he definitely got the most fleshed out part. Which for good reason he put it to good, because he put to good use. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Alright, closing song, Cold featuring Future. Here's the thing about Cold. I thought, oddly enough, I would have put like Don't Wanna Know as the last song. I would have switched them. But Cold is good vocals. Um, very like it's well produced. Oddly enough, for the first time in a long time, Future's been featured on a track, and I don't hate him. He works really well on this track. they used his voice properly. Even when he started singing the auto tune, it didn't even bother me. I was like, okay, Future, I have no problem with you. This also had like a weird, like a little bit Caribbean influence on the beat, and I like that. So yeah, I thought it was a good way to close the album. I mean, I would have still switched it with Don't Wanna Know, because this song made me wanted to hear more songs. And I think Don't Wanna Know, oddly enough, is a perfect one to close it with. Or Whiskey. One of those two. So what do you think of Cold?
I do believe that whichever way they chose to end the album, I'd have rather them ended it with someone with on a song with a feature, which they did, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And that feature, like I said, like you said here, did not mind him. Like a lot of times, I get lost in translation with him, but I think this is one of them cases.
Let's go.
Uh, and I was just like, yeah, it's pretty cool for the song to be the last on the album. Maroon Five sounded good on all the songs. I think like they, with the exception of maybe Lunchman Lewis, I think all the features got used really really damn well. But like on top of that though, I feel like they Maroon Five was always the reason the song got accentuated. Like it's not one of them things like I know I've mentioned on previous podcasts about like certain features like taking over the song just sounding better than the person who made the song in the first place. This is just one of them where it's like Maroon Five sounded great all the way through, and like they were the main draw. And they were the same thing for the last song, Cold here, and it just works. 'Cause I feel like they had options, sure, but I'm not mad at this one, and I think it ended the album good for me. This deluxe album.
Yes, we are doing deluxe. So basically, I think it's anything after Closure or something are the deluxe
Uh,
songs.
okay.
So we missed out some gold mines. I think it's also rearranged a little bit, but yeah. Overall, closing remarks. I say check it out. Now, if you are a hardcore Maroon 5 fan, is this their best album? No. But I still think you'll find something to enjoy. What about you, Michael?
I think this is Maroon Five's best album because it's the only album I've heard by them all the way through. So that being said, listen to the album.
Yeah. And I'm gonna ask Michael to listen to song by Jane or for Jane, I think it's called. Their first album. I think you'd be surprised how different they sound.
I can only imagine time between albums makes them just give them completely different sounds sometimes. So I can
Yeah,
imagine.
if I had to compare it, I would think it's like I still think V is better or 5 because it was the Roman numeral for 5. I would think the closest album to this one would be Overexposed, and that's the album that had Moves Like Jagger on it. Moves Like Jagger. Um, so I think if you like that album, it's pretty similar. But the thing about Maroon 5 that I always enjoy, they'll take pieces of their old work and still spin it a little bit. So all their albums still sound different. You could tell what was on one album versus another, and I like that in artists. So I'm definitely now they kind of made me my ranking a little bit harder because man, I don't know how I'm gonna like figure out like the top the top 5 for ours. I have no idea. But um and so I'm actually going to talk about the best of 2017. So there's a couple rules. One, we're only going to pick things that we've actually done a podcast on. But our honorable mentions, if we have any, could be a movie or album or something that we haven't like did a podcast on. Like for instance, I'm also gonna recommend an album, me to Michael, but it's James Arthur Back from the Edge album. I recommend that. It was a really good album, and I suggest you guys check it out. But that would also, I don't think that album came out this year. If it did, then yeah, it would be like on my honorable mention. But it can only be stuff that we actually did the podcast on, and the list is getting harder. Like it's really getting harder. I had my top like 3 for like the TV shows, but then like Stranger Things season 2 came out, so I was like, man, I gotta rethink. You know, I don't know about Michael, but I think the list is getting harder for all the categories so far.
I mean, I think once we put like that fire alarm podcast on the on our list, I'm pretty much already gonna know what my number one is. So I'm gonna make this easy for everybody.
Let's ignore Michael's whack joke. And let me just close out this podcast.
We got haters on this podcast. We got haters on this podcast.
No one's laughing but you.
We got haters
Anyway.
on this podcast.
Anyway, so guys, let us know what you think. You could tweet us, Echo U Podcast on Twitter, obviously, and follow us, leave comments. We're not afraid of criticism. We welcome it. You can also email us. Email us at echoundergroundpodcast@gmail.com. And you can email us suggestions or anything like that. You could subscribe, follow us on, Facebook or any other podcasting apps, including iTunes, and of course our YouTube channel as well if you don't have any of those things. And we do read the comments, so if you leave comments or like, we'll know about it. And your suggestion might actually end up on the podcast. Because I think if a fan suggested it, we'll probably put that as a priority. Want to give you guys what you want to hear. But yeah, let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
See ya.